Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
So, the president had the fall yesterday. The White House said that he's fine. Was he checked out by a doctor? What was that examination like? What was the results?
Okay.
I just want to remind everybody what the president was in Colorado Springs for yesterday.
Bizarro.
He was there to offer his thanks to the dedicated, brave women and men and women who are graduating and about to serve in the Air Force. And he was proud, very proud, to shake the hands of more than 900 of them.
That doesn't make sense.
Couple front hands. So I just want to make sure that we are aware, as Commander-in-Chief, that is why he was there, and he was incredibly proud to do so. And just to make sure we clear the record here, he tripped over a sandbag on the stage, and briefly he tripped and got up, and he got right back up and continued what he was there to do. He did not, there was no need for the doctor to see him as it was related to the fall, and he's doing fine. You saw, some of you saw him last night when he returned, getting off of Marine One on the South Lawn. He spoke to this, so I would refer you back to his comments, and so I'll just leave it there.
Oh, okay.
Another question on his speech yesterday at the Airport Academy. I expressed a lot of confidence that Sweden would be accepted to NATO. What is the source of his confidence? And Biden spoke with Erdogan earlier this week. Was there an assurance given there that made him more confident?
So I'm not going to go into private discussions or conversation that he had with Erdogan.
We are screwed.
I mentioned a couple of days ago that the president did bring up Sweden and NATO, and so the president continues to be confident, and he's hopefully, we hope that this will definitely occur, that we'll see Sweden be part of the NATO alliance.
Great word.
What can you tell us about the president's remarks tonight in the Oval Office? What's behind the decision to do it tonight and in that setting?
So just a little bit. Well, one of the things I can say why the Oval Office, why tonight, as you all know, we've been talking about averting a catastrophic default for the past couple of weeks, the past couple of months, and how important it was for the president to do that. There is a gravity, as you all can imagine, of this moment, and so the president wanted to make sure that he addressed the American people directly, and he's going to be speaking clearly from the Oval Office behind the Resolute desk to the American people for the first time, and so during a prime time, clearly at 7 o'clock, during a prime time hour. And so he just wanted to make sure that the American people understood how important it was to get this done, how important it was to do this in a bipartisan way. This would have been a first ever default. We've listed out what could have happened. We created a recession potentially, triggered a recession, lose millions of jobs, up to 8 million jobs, increase costs for all Americans. We're talking about retirement accounts and devastating paychecks. That's what could have happened by Monday if we didn't get this done. Cause chaos and catastrophe in the world economy, and undermine the full faith and credit of the United States. That's what was able to avert it in a bipartisan way. And so the president wants to lay that out for the American people, and that's what you're going to hear him do today.
Fitch is now warning that the U.S. credit rating is still, though, at risk, even once this deal is done. How confident are you that a downgrade will be avoided?
Look, as we all saw, we saw a bipartisan agenda come together in a way that Congress should work, right? And it was majority. We saw a majority of bipartisanship from both chambers of Congress pass a strong fiscal responsibility proposal that will reduce the deficit by more than $1 trillion. That is important to note, and it ensures that the government will continue to meet our commitments, which is important to do as well. So, look, the Treasury market remains the safest, the deepest, and the most liquid market in the world. And so, I'll just leave it there as what we by basically laying out what we've been able to do, and I think that's important for the world to see.
Mm-hmm. Dates on when he'll actually sign the bill at this point?
So it won't be today. The House and the Senate have to do their business, and so we're going to work very quickly with them to get this done, to make sure we can sign it hopefully as soon as tomorrow. But we have to let the House and the Senate do what they need to do so they can get to us, so the president can sign it.
Fitch, in their statement today, said that the repeated political standoffs is what was lowering their confidence. In the president's speech tonight, will he lay out any kind of plan to to avoid this standoff going forward, and could he potentially address the use of the 14th Amendment?
You sure about that?
So look, I'm not going to certainly get ahead of what the president will say today. As it relates to the 14th Amendment, the president has spoken to that numerous of times. What was important for him is to get this deal done and to take default off the table, which is what we saw happen these past couple of days. Look. The president wants to make sure that the American people understand and understood what occurred. Congress came together, the leaders came together to agree on a bipartisan budget agreement that protects the economic progress that we made, and that will protect not just the economy but also the American people. And so, look, when we think about the investing in America, what the president proposed, those historic pieces of legislation, those were protected. The CHIPS and Science Act, the bipartisan infrastructure law. Think about the veterans, the PACT Act. Think about all those important pieces of legislation that's going to make sure that we continue to grow an economy from the bottom up and middle out. Those are the things that the president was able to protect. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. And so all of these things are incredibly important, and he's going to lay that out, and I'm just not going to get ahead of him too much.
And then last night you guys put out a readout of a call with President Obama where you said they discussed that deal, but also other topics. What were some of the other topics they discussed, and why did you decide to read out this call? I mean, my understanding was that they spoke, somewhat regularly. Do they?
Yeah.
That actually was pretty funny.
We speak regularly. As we know, there was the debt limit situation that was occurring, and so I think it was important for us to read it out, to let them know that the President Obama and President Biden spoke. No specific reasoning, but just in the moment, we wanted to read out this conversation that they had. And I know sometimes people ask when they speak, and we thought because of the debt limit, because of the bipartisanship that we saw happening in the last couple of days, it was important to also lay out that the President Obama and President Biden spoke. I'm not going to get into it from here. I'm sure we will hear more on what those other topics are. The President Obama has been here a couple times, but I just don't have anything else to lay out specifically.
You gotta stop doing that, okay? It is weird.
Go, Joey.
Yeah, thanks, Karine. Is the president concerned with the precedent that this debt ceiling standoff that we're coming out of sets, perhaps in terms of how a party, Republicans in this case, not in the White House, might try to pass policies, pass their objectives, priorities in the future?
Meaning, we'll say that one more time?
Yeah. Is he concerned that this sets a precedent in terms of how Republicans might try to pass policies down the road during the next time we get to the debt ceiling maxed out?
I mean, look, I think that the fact that this is a president that was able to bring both sides together and get this done on behalf of the American people, I think that's important. I think that's what we're going to point to. I can't speak to what Republicans in Congress are going to do or might not do or get into hypotheticals. I think what's important here is that we averted something that could have been incredibly catastrophic to our economy and hurt American families. And so that's going to be our focus. Not going to get into hypotheticals from here, but I think that what you have seen, what you've all been reporting and seen the past 2 weeks, people didn't think would happen, right? People didn't have the confidence that the president would bring both sides together to make this happen, and it did. And so that's important on behalf of the American people. The American people won here, and I think that's important to speak to.